per hour. And this is a supercell thunderstorm. That means this could be a cell that continues to produce a tornado, or the tornado could come up and down. But that rotation continues to pick up right there. Certainly seeing a tighter rotation. We've got the winds going towards and away from the radar. West Point, Bald Knob, once again. Judsonia, it's just to the east of you. Searcy, it's to the east of you. So you are not in the tornado warning necessarily. Symone, let's take a look at, you put a track on there. So are we saying it's going to go down to the east-southeast? Let's go ahead and loop this to see exactly how this has developed over the past 5 minutes, because it was over Judsonia and looks like it's taken more of an easterly track. So let's go ahead and put a new track on there, include Augusta and Gregory. I also want you to be on your guard as well, but certainly Augusta, and in between Augusta and Gregory, get to your safe place at this time. Lowest level, sturdy structure, into your hallway, into your bathroom, because the situation we have going on tonight is these cells can rapidly develop, and we do have the potential there could be a strong tornado, and that means it could be an EF2 or greater, just because we have a lot of warm, moist air in the environment, lots of wind energy for these storms to rotate. So here's the heads up. So we have Worden around 10:42, Rio Vista 10:45, Augusta around 3 minutes after 11 o'clock. And you want to give yourself plenty of extra time. Don't follow these times directly. Give yourself at least 5 to 10 minutes, because the speed of this could change as well. And then Patterson around 11:24. Let's just take a look at the warning now, Symone. Just get rid of all the radar at this time, and let's just take a look at the warning. There you see, and zoom in who is under that tornado warning with some of these communities. So once again, West Point, Bald Knob, Pryor, we got Nimmo, and then also Highway 33. So this is from White County entering into Woodruff County. That's where this rotation is headed in this direction off to the east. Once again, about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Symone, what are you seeing there with the NROT tool on Storm Track 11? Is that picking up more than what it has been over the past few scans?
Yeah, it looks like you can see, if you move over here to Storm Track 11 on our NROT tool, you can see where we have that blue and then that bullseye of green in the middle. Now this green actually has extended a little more to what it was a second ago before we cut in. It was a smaller bullseye. It has expanded a little bit, I guess, indicating that that rotation has gotten a little bit stronger just to the northeast of West Point, Arkansas.
Okay, Symone, I'm definitely seeing that green. I don't like to see that, because when we see a bullseye of green, that means it's more likely that it's trying to do something. And once again, that signature that we're seeing, we can go back over to Max now. The signature that we're seeing is a typical classic hook echo signature. So there you see it right there. This appendage is making its way right around this part of the area of the storm. So we've got the winds going into the storm, winds coming out of the storm. If there's something happening, once again, it's going to be right around this area, right where the hook echo is. This is the rear flank downdraft. That's where you're going to get a lot more wind and also the heavy rain. If this were daytime, you would be able to see it down into Georgetown and Gregory looking off to the northwest. But of course, it's nighttime. There's a lot of lightning, so you may be able to see it, because it is pretty flat and farmland around this region. Of course, we don't want you to go out and look for it. We want you to be in a safe place. But again, we've got this tornado warning now, Doppler radar indicated tornado, until 11 o'clock for Augusta, Gregory, Highway 33, Highway 260, as this supercell thunderstorm is making its way through White County, getting into Woodruff County, and Pumpkin Bend, and also McCrory. Just be ready to take your tornado precautions. Right now, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning, but that could change if this rotation continues to intensify, and that is a possibility out there for tonight. This is something we don't like to see. Of course, we don't want to see any tornado warnings, especially with supercells. But at night, that's where things get very dangerous very quickly. We are waiting on the potential there could be a new tornado watch issued for a large part of central Arkansas. The Storm Prediction Center has been talking about that possibility over the past 30 minutes. So even here in Little Rock, don't let your guard down. Symone, let's take a wider view here real quick to see what's happening around the rest of the region, because we do have other cells trying to pop up. So we have a little bit of a boundary right here. Another cell developing into Pike County. That one looks fairly tame at this time, has some lightning with it. But there's another cell trying to develop in northern parts of Lono County and into southern parts of White County. Let's take a look at that cell as well, Symone, and see what's going on with that, just to make sure that that one is not rotating as well, because it is trying to get more of a supercell structure to it, as we had that kidney bean shape taking place. A lot of lightning. So when you see a lot of lightning with a storm, that tells you you've got a very strong updraft. These storms are just feeding off the buffet of warm and humid air. And once again, we have enough wind energy for these storms to rotate. So heavy rain, lightning and thunder happening right along Highway 67, Austin, Ward, BB, into Griffithville. And we have to watch out for this area in case it continues to intensify, because with this being a supercell, I want you to be on your guard, Belcher, Griffithville, and also Georgetown, because this cell is going to be headed in your direction and it may continue to intensify. Back to the tornado warning, Symone, where we still have that tornado warning in effect. It is still a Doppler radar indicated tornado, but they're saying there is a cyclonic and anti-cyclonic rotation within the current tornado warning. So it looks like there could be potential of 2 circulations within this supercell.
Hey, Nathan.
Augusta certainly wants you, once again, to be in your safe place. Go ahead, Symone.
On our en-route tool on Storm Track 11, it does look like that rotation is trying to strengthen a little bit.
Okay, let's take Storm Track 11, please.
So this is the same storm over in White County moving into Woodruff County. The green bullseye we were talking about, now we see more of a yellow bullseye in the middle of the green, indicating that rotation is trying to pick up a little bit. And then just to the northeast of that, this lighter green, would that be more of that anticyclonic rotation they're talking about?
I definitely see the one that you're talking about just to the east of West Point. I'm looking at velocity on max 2 to see if there are other ones showing up. There might be another one just to the southeast of Bald Knob, but that rotation is definitely starting to pick up right along north of Pryor and south of Bald Knob. So let's go back over to max 1 now, and let's go a little more street view with max 1. Go ahead and put on the velocity as well, Symone, please, because this clearly shows a couplet that continues to be there. So once again, if there's something happening and we don't have any confirmation, Symone, you can zoom out just a little bit. It's a little too tight, but there you see we have Lone Star Road, Hurricane Lake Road, South Taylor Road. These areas, this is very strong winds now. Blues are going towards the radar, yellows are going away from the radar, so this is where the circulation is, and the tornado, if there's going to be something there, it's going to be right about in this area. So if you're listening to me and you are familiar with these roads and they are to the west of you, certainly get to your safe place at this time. You don't have much time. Let's zoom out a little bit more, Symone, as we take a look at some other communities around the area. Once again, Augusta, Worden, Highway 64. We've had the White River around this area, so there's not a lot here. Primarily, it's a lot of marshland once you get close to the White River, but this is a nasty looking rotation moving from White County into Woodruff County. Symone, are you seeing anything on CC? If we can take a look at the debris detector as well to see if there's anything happening, picking up anything. Let's just take a look at that real quick. Just take a moment.
Let's take some of this lightning off so it's not as busy.
Okay, perfect. I'm not seeing anything screaming out to me to say that this is a tornado on the ground at this time. Let's go ahead and loop that.
Okay, let's loop this.
And we'll see if there's any. What we're looking for, ladies and gentlemen, is the colors to change. These reds are the radar picking up similar shapes, rain, hail, whatnot. When we have lighter colors within a precipitation shield, that tells us that the radar's picking up potential of different shapes of things, which could be leaves and shingles and trees and parts of buildings and stuff like that. So we're not seeing that at this time. So this is still a Doppler radar indicated tornado, but looking at that rotation, it may drop a tornado at any moment. Back over to velocity.
On our Storm Track 11 with the new scans, that rotation looks like it's still getting stronger. That yellow bullseye in the middle of the green bullseye is getting a little bit bigger. Still seeing that rotation just to the northwest of it. The National Weather Service is saying there could be 2 tornadoes at any minute, but that southernmost rotation is definitely the stronger one of the 2.
Okay, so once again, Augusta, Gregory, and especially if you are between those 2 communities, you need to be in your safe place at this time. This is where it's pretty much a lot of marsh area, but it's going to make its way across the river and then make its way just to the south of Augusta. There's the latest scan, still has that yellow. When we had yellow on this tool, that tells us that this is spinning like a top. It may produce a tornado at any moment, and we're in the situation where it could be a strong tornado. So once again, Augusta, Gregory, and especially in between those 2 areas, I want you in your safe place. You do not have much time to get there, but you need to get there right away. Let's take a look at the reflectivity on max 1, please. And let's zoom out a little bit. And once again, that is the only tornado warning we have in effect across the area. So if you're just joining us right now, I would say pretty much Little Rock and off to the east and south, be on your guard through the rest of the evening until we give you an all clear. We are still waiting on the potential we could have a extended or new tornado watch issued at any moment. We're just waiting on the Storm Prediction Center to do that. But these cells have just really started to develop very quickly over the past 15 to 30 minutes, and this one still has quite a bit of lightning. So we have the severe thunderstorm warning until 11 o'clock for McCrory, Tupelo, southern parts of Jackson County, a large part of Woodruff County. But of course, it's going to be this tornado warning that we are most concerned about at this time. Let's go ahead and just look at the warning once again, Symone, just to give folks at home an idea of what communities, what streets are impacted. So let's zoom in a little bit more. Once again, it's Highway 33, Highway 260, and also possibly even Highway 17. Pan up just a little bit and zoom in. So there's Augusta. So once again, Augusta very close to this circulation. And then we have Gregory, I believe, is just down to our south. If we can zoom in on that, it'll pop up a little bit. So there's Gregory. Okay, so Gregory and Augusta, once again, Highway 33, this is going to be the area of where this circulation is making its way through. This storm is spinning like a top. If it was day, I'm sure you would see a rotating wall cloud, a very low cloud headed in your direction, and you probably see a very much an ominous look to the sky if you were looking off to the north from southern parts of Woodruff County and also into parts of White County. Zoom out a little bit more, Symone. Let's take a look at the reflectivity once again with this storm to point out where that hook echo is. So once again, it's going to be right here. If there's something developing, we have the winds going into this cell, the inflow, and then as the rain and downdraft makes its way on the backside of the system, you got heavy rain, possibly some gusty winds, but the tornado is going to be right about this area. So once again, in between Augusta and Gregory is going to be the danger zone of where the probability of a tornado may happen at any moment, and once again, it could be a strong tornado just because the ingredients are in place for that type of situation to unfold tonight. This cell is going to make its way off to the east. So McCrory, Howe, Highway 269, and the rest of Highway 64, just be on your guard because this tornado warning may be extended into your neck of the woods if they continue to see this. So let's see, we have a tornado watch is expiring for some counties. So we have a tornado watch is expiring for Fulton, Baxter, Independence, Lawrence, Randolph, Sharp, and Stone counties. And they're going to issue a new tornado watch for Lonoke, Monroe, Prairie, White, and Woodruff. And this goes until 4 o'clock in the morning. So that is a brand new tornado watch for these areas north and east of Little Rock. And no surprise, with what we have going on right now. Symone, what are you seeing over there on Storm Track 11?
On Storm Track 11, it looks like that rotation is starting to weaken a bit, but we still have that green bullseye. That secondary rotation just to the northwest, that's weakening a bit too, but we still have some of that little lighter green in place. So with the scans, it's starting to weaken, but we still have that signature of some rotation. We haven't seen any confirmation of a tornado on the ground, but still picking up the rotation by radar.
All right, Symone, and are you seeing anything on CC?
I have not seen anything on CC. I have, however, seen, looks like we're starting to pick up some power outages out of White County. Right now, around 1,100, almost 1,200 without power. That might be correlated to the storm, but we're not seeing any type of tornado debris signature.
And let's look at velocity with Storm Track 11, Symone, and let's just loop that to see how that has unfolded over the past few scans. Is that the velocity?
Yes.
And that's Little Rock?
Yes.
Okay, because that looks a little bit different than what we're seeing on Max 1. Our colors are coming out a little bit better. So let's go back over to Max 1 then.
Okay.
And let's look at the velocity with that, please. Okay, so we're still seeing the couplets there. And when you loop it, it has come down just a smidge. Those yellows are not as strong as what they once were, but we still have the blue going towards Little Rock radar, the yellow going away from the radar. So there it is. It's still there. The cell is still rotating, and it's still a dangerous cell. We have not gotten any confirmed reports of a tornado, but still, you need to be in your safe place. Once again, between Augusta and Gregory, Highway 33, Highway 260. And let's zoom in just a little bit more. Symone, I think, there's not much out here for the most part. We're gonna have trouble getting some roads. But there you go, Highway 33, there's the rotation, and it's going over the river at this time. So that is gonna continue to push its way off to the east, about 30 to 35 miles per hour. Symone, let's go ahead and put a track on that.
Mm-hmm. Zoom out a bit.
So there's what you can expect with McCrory. You want to be in your safe place, and there's some other communities there. Dayview, Bulltown, and Revel looks like are going to be in the path of this potential still Doppler radar indicated tornado, but nonetheless, it is still a dangerous situation trying to unfold in that part of White County getting into Woodruff County as it crosses the White River right there. So once again, in between Augusta and Gregory, this is the only tornado warning we have in effect right now in THV 11 viewing area. Let's zoom out, Symone, since it is going over the river at this time. Let's take a break, zoom out, and check out what's happening around the rest of the region just to make sure that we don't have any other warnings. We can go back over to reflectivity. It looks like there is a tornado warning in northeast Arkansas. So those cells are starting to really gather up some steam as well. So let's go ahead and just go from White County, getting into Little Rock Metro, and just kind of pan down a little bit just so everybody can see what's happening around the region. So there we go with the storm. Now this one doesn't look like it's trying to get as much of its act together as it once was. It just looks like a solid line of heavy rain, lightning, and thunder. Could be some hail as well. It may try to develop somewhere in Pulaski County or Saline County. So you have these little cells start to pop up here. One into Grant County, close to Sheridan. That's not a storm. Doesn't have any lightning just yet, but it could turn into a storm. And then we also have a heavy downpour, looks like very close to Malvern. We do have a storm happening over Pike County into Clark County. That one has a little appendage to it, so we'll have to watch out for that and see if that one's starting to rotate as well. So this one's going to be making its way off to the east towards Arkadelphia.
That storm doesn't have a warning attached to it, but the National Weather Service did put out a special weather statement for 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts and half-inch hail. So it's trying to strengthen a bit, but it's not quite strong enough for that severe warning.
And this part of the state the wind shear or the wind energy is not as great as what we're seeing off to the northeast of Little Rock. So this one could still produce some hail and maybe some damaging winds, but hopefully it does not try to go with a tornado warning. I don't think it will for the most part. I think it's really going to be for more east and northeast of Little Rock, since we do have that new tornado watch in effect all the way until 4 o'clock in the morning. So we'll continue to watch out for those cells. I think if you're watching us north and west of Little Rock, Perry County, Yell County, Pope County, into Conway County, probably Faulkner County, Montgomery County, you're done with the threat of severe weather. This is all firing up along a boundary that's slicing its way right through central Arkansas at this time and off to the northeast. Once again, we do have that tornado warning in effect for a small sliver of White County getting into Woodruff County. They're going to continue that warning. Whether or not they'll extend that warning, we're still waiting on that. It's 10:47. That warning is until 11 o'clock, so we still have about 12 to 13 minutes more of this tornado warning to continue. But once again, it's Augusta and Gregory. This other cell is trying to influence it a little bit, merge with a little bit of it. This lightning has really started to pick up in this part of the cell as well. So a ton of lightning, once again, that indicates how intense this storm is. Fortunately, at this time, it's moving over the White River. Hopefully it will weaken, but you know how these supercells work, ladies and gentlemen. They cycle up, they cycle down. So it may cycle down a little bit, we lose that tornado warning, and then we could have a new tornado warning farther off to the east. So just because if this doesn't have a tornado warning extended into McCrory and along Highway 64 and Highway 269, don't let your guard down until this line makes its way through. Then you're going to be done with the threat of severe weather for the rest of the night. But it's going to be folks off to the east and southeast of this developing line. You got to watch out for things to continue to go downhill with the potential of strong, possibly severe thunderstorms. And that includes damaging wind gusts, large hail, and it could be quite large hail. It could be as large as golf balls or maybe even larger than that. Up to 2 inches is certainly a possibility. Along with that, we also will be watching for the tornado risk. We're going to be here all night long, keeping you updated. Of course, when there's a tornado warning, we'll break in on THV11. We're also on Facebook and I believe YouTube as well. So there is the new tornado warning. So they have issued a brand new tornado warning now, and that does include you folks in McCrory and looks like Pumpkin Bend. Let's just take a look at the warnings with that, Symone. So let's get rid of the rain and we'll just focus in on the tornado warning polygon. Okay, so it does include Pumpkin Bend. It just includes McCrory and Bemis. So 145, Highway 64, Highway 269, as this rotation is going to be following right along Highway 260, moving over Highway 17 along Highway 145. So it'll be a close call for you folks in McCrory. And we do have, I believe, that's getting close to some really popular farmland in that part of the area. So hopefully, once again, this is a Doppler radar indicated tornado, but it looks like that the front, they're saying the cold front is trying to move in. So once that cold front moves through, you're done with the threat of severe weather. They're saying that front is making its way through White County at this time and extending its way down to the south. So the cold front is the trigger for these storms to develop. Back over to reflectivity now, Symone. And are you seeing anything on there with Storm Track 11? Are we still seeing that yellow area, or has it weakened somewhat?
It's been weakening with the scans, but we still have more of that blue. We don't have the yellow or the green when we look at the NROT tool on Storm Track 11, but you can still see some weak rotation. And I think they said they're maintaining that tornado warning because in the mid-levels, we're still seeing that rotation within the cloud. It's just not as present here at the surface.
All right, thank you for the update, Symone. Can we go over to Storm Track 11 and take a look at that? And let's go ahead and loop it a little bit to see how this has evolved over the past 10 to 15 minutes, when it certainly could have tried to produce a tornado where you saw the yellow that was just west of the White River right there. So where this yellow was happening, it may have tried to drop the tornado very quickly. Now, here's the latest scan, and you can see that yellow has started to fade away.
The yellow and
the green has started to fade away. So the chance of this still producing a tornado has lowered. Nonetheless, it's always best to take the safest route. Still want you in your safe place, okay? Gregory, Augusta, then we've got Grays, McCrory, pretty close to Fair Oaks, and Hillman. So those areas are all under the tornado warning at this time because, once again, this could try to cycle back up. We don't have any confirmation that it did produce a tornado. We do have power outages that have been happening into White County, so that could be just very high winds that rolled through. It could be straight line winds, or it could have been something else. We just don't know. So therefore, we just want to take this with caution, and that's what the National Weather Service is doing, and that's why they extended the tornado warning until 11:30 for Woodruff County, just because we have this supercell thunderstorm. You never let your guard down when there's a supercell thunderstorm because they're notorious to cycle up, cycle down. Looks like they're weakening, then they strengthen once again. So we'll just have to watch this as it makes its way through the rest of the viewing area, and then eventually it'll make its way into eastern parts of Arkansas. But let's zoom out, Symone. Let's give people a heads up on Max 1 now. So if you have any friends or family to the east of this cell, I would say certainly into St. Francis County, into Cross County, just make sure that they are aware of the possibility that this cell could go tornadic as it moves through that parts of the state. So that includes Wynn, that includes Cherry Valley, Coldwater, Highway 64, because this cell could try to get its act together once again and maybe more likely produce a tornado in this part of the state, since once again, this area has more wind energy to work with, and therefore the storms have a better chance of rotation and producing a tornado into east and northeast Arkansas. But we have this line trying to develop, and there were like two individual supercells. This one has really started to lose a little more of its identity into northern parts of Prairie County and into the Georgetown area of White County. Still rocking and rolling. I mean, it's still loud. Torrential rain happening at this time. Let's take a look at the hail tool as well, Symone. See if this is producing any hail at this moment, because I know it was producing some bigger hail just a couple scans ago. So right now it looks like it's just, for the most part, pea to dime size hail, where you see this blue right here on the border of Prairie County and White County, and then also pretty close to Augusta, you could be seeing some pea to dime size hail. Of course, the main concern with this is the potential of a tornado. So there's a tornado warning once again. McCrory, be in your safe place just in case this tries to spin up a tornado at any moment. Again, we just have this radar indicated situation. It is not a confirmed tornado, but still, you don't want to let your guard down and just write it off. It's always best to go ahead and take the safest route. Symone, let's go ahead and show the new tornado watch that was issued for areas north and east of Little Rock. So there is the new tornado watch, okay? And it's not 11 o'clock anymore. It's going to be going until 4 a.m. Also, I want to highlight Pine Bluff, Monticello, Camden, El Dorado, southeast Arkansas. Anywhere south and east of Little Rock, still be on your guard. Just because you're not under tornado watch at this time does not mean you will not see severe weather. The latest model information is trying to show the potential a line of storms developing right through central Arkansas and then sweeping its way down to the south and southeast through the overnight. And along that line, lots of lightning. There could be some hail, damaging winds, but also the tornado threat. And we're in a situation where you may not be under a watch necessarily. You may just have a tornado warning out of the blue. So make sure you have a way of waking you up tonight if you're watching us in southeast Arkansas, into parts of south Arkansas, just in case there's a rogue storm and it does try to produce a tornado. We are in that situation. And anytime you have severe weather at night, well, you saw what happened last night. We lost 8 Arkansans. We don't want to lose any more out there tonight. So we want you to be weather aware, stay alert. You don't need to necessarily stay up all night, but have a way of getting those warning notifications so you can get to your safe place as quickly as possible. I see the National Weather Service is saying the low-level rotation has weakened further, but there's still rotation in the mid part of the cloud. So they are in between radars, Little Rock and Memphis. And we're not getting a good reading at this time when we talk about what this is looking like in terms of we're shooting up with the radar beam high up into the atmosphere versus closer to the ground. So we don't know really what's happening closer to the surface. So the National Weather Service is just playing it safe, because if there's weak rotation in the middle part of the cloud and we can't see the stronger low-level rotation down close to the surface, that can be certainly a bad situation that we just don't know what's happening across Woodruff County at this time. So once again, if you're in this tornado warning box, this red box, be in your safe place as the storm is pushing its way off to the east. Take a look at the velocity once again, Symone. Let's see what's happening with this. See if there's any more rotation, and let's go ahead and rewind that back a little bit, because we're not seeing the blue that we saw just about 10 to 15 minutes ago. Let's go a little bit slower. Just go ahead and take your cursor and just go a little bit slower. So there it is right there. So this is when it was certainly stronger here before it made its way across the White River. Now as we advance in time, it made its way right over Highway 33, still a very strong couplet, and then it's starting to fade away. So it's a little bit harder to detect. Looks like there's a little more outflow right there along the intersection of 260 and Highway 17. So if there's still something, it's going to be right in this area, very close to McCrory, probably only a few miles from McCrory. And I don't know if you have a measuring device that you can go ahead and measure that out from McCrory to the rotation tool, Symone. If not, I can come over there and help you. So it's about 3 or 4 miles away from McCrory, if there is a tornado still possibility. But that is certainly a little more encouraging news to see. We're not seeing that couplet as tight as it was, and certainly not as pronounced as it once was just a few scans ago as it made its way from White County into Woodruff County. Symone, what is it looking like there on the NROT on Storm Track 11?
Still that deep blue, and that area of blue is getting a little bit smaller. So weak rotation present, but definitely not as strong as it was a few scans ago. So if we move back a few scans, this is what it's looking like now. Definitely a lot less impressive than it was a few scans ago. A few scans ago we had, as you see, that green bullseye. For a second we had more of that yellow bullseye, like you said, before it crossed into Woodruff County. But now, as of the latest scan, we're just showing a little bit of that blue, indicating some weak rotation in the clouds, but we're not seeing any type of tornado debris signature on CC or anything to indicate that this has actually reached the surface.
Okay. That is some good news. Hopefully that continues to be the trend. And Augusta and Gregory, you are in the clear. That rotation is well to the east of you. We got Grays, McCrory, Fair Oaks, and Penrose are in the path of this rotating storm that still has not necessarily produced a tornado that we know of. But once again, if you're in that tornado warning polygon to the east of Augusta and Gregory, you want to go ahead and make sure that you are taking your tornado precautions at this time. Let's go back over to Max 1 now. Let's take a look once again what's happening across the rest of the state, making sure those cells are behaving themselves down to the south. Really, it's going to be Prairie County, Woodruff County, now getting into Cross and St. Francis counties. Those are going to be the areas where the severe weather threat will continue to pick up. But what I'm noticing is that frontal boundary. So here's the boundary. Here's the cold front.
It looks like they just canceled the tornado warning.
Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, it makes sense since we don't have the rotation as much anymore. But let's go ahead and show there's the cold front. So if you are to the west of this cold front, this line that's developing into northern parts of White County and then towards Independence County. Let's pan up a little bit here, Symone. And let's just walk down county by county. So here's Jackson County. So Independence County, the severe weather threat, you're done. It's over because the front has made its way through. It's going to be Jackson County and then into White County, still has that threat. This front is making its way through Faulkner County, so Conway County, Cleburne County, Van Buren County, Pope County, no severe weather concerns out there through the rest of the overnight. Same for, I would say, most of Perry County, certainly Yell County, Montgomery County, possibly Garland County. I don't know where the front is exactly in this area, and here are those cells still trying to develop. And that one's continuing to develop, looks like, into Pike County and Clark County, and that is trying to get a little bit of a kidney bean shape here, Symone. Let's go ahead and see if there's hail with that first of all.
Okay. Looks like.
So there is a little bit of hail. So there's going to be some hail very close to the community of Antoine and Arkadelphia. You may see some hail as well. If you have any reports of hail, 501-376-1111. You can send those reports in our direction. Just make sure that you do it safely. And we're going to continue to watch this situation all night long. Meteorologist Symone Thomas and I will be here watching the radar very closely. As of right now, there are no tornado warnings in effect for the THV11 viewing area. We'll continue to watch things. We have a new cell all the way down here in Texarkana. So yeah, there could be certainly some severe weather along Interstate 30 and then off to the east. So once again, if you're in this part of Arkansas, you want to stay weather aware. Make sure you have several ways of getting warning notifications to wake you up tonight just in case there is a tornado warning issued. You're not under tornado watch at this time in this part of the state, but that may change. We'll update you on Facebook. Probably we'll do a Facebook live update maybe around midnight, 1 o'clock. We'll see how things are going. But for right now, we'll go ahead and send it back to regularly scheduled programming. I'm meteorologist Nathan Scott. For meteorologist Symone Thomas, stay safe, stay alert, and we'll be here all night long.